Yo, what's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday, Sunday fun day. You guys know the vibes, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. Got a very big night ahead of us, and we got an even bigger week ahead of us. Super excited for it. Hopefully you guys are as well. It's a short trading week, but it should be a good one. Should be a good one for sure. Yeah, man. Welcome, everybody. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I definitely did. Got some nice rest, recharged, ready for this week. And last week was just super mentally exhausting. But back at it, recharged, ready to rock, man. Alrighty, y'all. Let's get it. If everybody can see clear, everybody can hear clear, drop a 1 for me. 2 if you can't. Let's go, man. Sunday, you guys know the vibes. Got a beautiful week ahead of us. Let's get it. A lot of opportunity, man. 1, day trading. 2, like, guys, I can't stress it enough. The opportunity, long-term coming, that's gonna come, is man, you guys need to be taking advantage of it for sure. Alrighty, y'all. Let's get it. For anybody that's new here, welcome. For everybody that attends regularly, appreciate your support. Let's get it, man. First, we're going to go over the economic calendar for the week ahead, and then we will get into the charts. So, with that being said, let's get it. Appreciate the feedback, everybody. Here we are, going into Monday, April 14th. Tomorrow's trading session. Nothing of importance here. Literally nothing. Tuesday, April 15th. Nothing of importance here. Wednesday, April 16th. This is where the fun begins. We have retail sales at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we have Powell speaking at 1:15 Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. That is what we got in terms of the beginning of this data. Now, Thursday is our Friday because the market is closed for Friday, which is supposed to be a good Friday. So Thursday here, we have our usual jobless claims, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we have a Fed speaker here at 11:45. Never really seen anything significant with him, but we do have that. Friday, market is closed. Futures will be open, but the stock market will be closed. You cannot trade options. You cannot trade anything like that. All right. So that's what we've got to look forward for the week ahead. Monday, April 14th, again, nothing. Tuesday, April 15th, nothing. We're clear, good to go there. So that'd be good for swings Monday into Tuesday. Wednesday, pretty much the biggest day of the week. We have retail sales, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time again. And then we have Jay Powell speaking at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. And then obviously Thursday, we have our usual jobless claims. And that's it for the week, man. Friday, market is closed. So we'll have a nice long weekend. And yeah, man. Hopefully you guys are ready, man. It's going to be a big week. Oh, don't worry. I've seen Mamba. That's my #1 cheerleader. He's going to sit in timeout for a little bit. He's had his time to shine last week, the previous week. He tends to just send one message and then disappear. So he got his one message in tonight. And we're going to continue, man. We're going to continue. It's probably, we all know who it is, right? We all know who it really is. It's supposed to be, you know, the big man, right? The big man who's probably on vacation, tuned in to Felonies Live, right? Probably hating life right now. God damn it, man. This motherfucker just keeps doing it and keeps doing it well. He was supposed to fall off so long ago. And, well, keep hate watching. If you start watching from a positive perspective, life might change, man. You might learn something. Might learn you a thing or two. Might not need subscriptions to keep you alive anymore, buddy. You might learn how to trade, you know? Alrighty, y'all. Let's get it, man. Oh, man. I mean, look at everybody else that's learned from me. They're thriving, you know? Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Sat up there all by himself. Alrighty, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Here we are. NQ. Give me 1 second here. I'm taking a drink of water. We'll rock out. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, man. I mean, it's literally hilarious. Exactly. I can guarantee you, like with that type of consistency in terms of hate, there's no doubt in my mind that that person is highly upset with me, right? To where you're dedicated daily to one. Like imagine, okay, we're gonna get into the charts in 1 second, but just think about this dedication. We got to give him some award for that because he shows up to the Zoom every day, right? He supposedly hates me, but he shows up to the Zoom every day, 5 days a week, minimum. Everybody sees him type at least once, 5 days a week, and then he tunes in on Sunday. So I'm taking 6 days of his week. I mean, at the end of the day, bro, you gotta give that commitment. That's a fucking top tier hater. Like, you've never said anything positive, but you spend 6 days a week watching me. Like, bro, what? There's nothing free in this world. But just like Christopher said, me living rent-free in your head is definitely free. It's taking 6 days of your week. Hey, man, shout out to you. Alrighty, here we go, y'all. Here we go. This is NQ. I want to point out a couple things here, right? This chart is going to look a little weird compared to NQ because obviously the data. We trade 6 days a week, 23 hours a day. Now, if you look at QQQ here, right, this is why I stress to you guys, it's so important to look at QQQ, NQ, ES, and SPY, right? I've been stressing this 400, 410 level for I don't know how long, right? And anyone that understands how to read a chart, seen it, right? This was that major macro break and retest, right? This was the level everybody and their mother was watching, right? We all know this is the level of all levels. Now, this doesn't look like that on NQ, obviously, because of the data. But the levels that correlate, right? 16,400. So this is what I'm going to talk about now. Looking at this NQ chart, we got quite a wick here on the monthly, right? And when you take into context where we're bouncing from, that is huge, right? Because technically on the monthly here, we still have higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. And now we have what? Another potential higher low. So on this monthly chart, given the context, this could be a short-term bottom, right? For who knows, right? I personally don't know. No one in this world knows. But in my opinion, right, if we're going to bounce from anywhere, this is the perfect spot to do so, being that macro demand, right? So with that being said, this monthly chart is going to be super, super vital in our upcoming trading days, right? Especially, we're about halfway through. It's the 13th, so we got about 16 trading days left. How this monthly closes is likely going to depict what happens into the next month, right? So this monthly candle is super important, and you should definitely periodically be checking it. There's not much really to cover right now. Obviously, it's still developing, but this is a pretty strong wick, right? So when you take that and go to the weekly, you're going to get a similar story, right? Obviously, we had the double top failure to go higher, break of structure, lower high, and then we have our low here, right? This is our big establishment, this low, right? This is kind of our pivot. Now, look at how we closed last week. Extremely strong with rising volume. That is what you want to see, right? If you're looking to take a demand bounce, whether it's on the 5 minute, whether it's a macro bottom, right? You want to see that there are participants on that bounce or reject. And we can clearly see here that buyers made their point, right? We literally, from that demand on QQQ at 400, we made a 17% equity move. For those of you guys that just started trading, you probably don't understand the significance of this, but making a 10% plus move on an indice, there's a reason they're circuit breakers, right? The last time a circuit breaker has been triggered, let me see. I don't want to be wrong here. I think it's been like 10 years. When is the last time a circuit breaker was triggered? I think it was 10 years, 12 years. Yeah, okay. So COVID, and then before that was 2008. So we've had a circuit breaker 1, 2, 3 times in the past 15 years, right? So that tells you everything right now, right? Yeah, when you take off the adjusted data, you'll be able to see it exactly. And if you wonder how I correlate my levels, that's how I do so. But I like to keep the adjusted data on because the contracts roll over. But yes, if you turn off the adjusted data, it'll show you the exact same level. But circuit breakers, right? We were making moves last week that we've never seen since the early, I shouldn't say never, that we haven't seen since the early 1920s, right? This is the type of volatility we're seeing in 2025, where we haven't seen this in 80 plus years, right? Like, it's absolutely insane. And we just missed a great setup, by the way. I was watching this. You guys aren't doing your job, man. You guys are supposed to let me know when stuff like this is happening. You guys are supposed to let me know. We could have taken this trade just now. That was beautiful. One of my mentees just posted about it. I just went short here. We shorted 19,060 into 19,000, but this is what I was looking for. I was looking for another lower high here tonight, so we could short it for that gap fill down into 18,900. We'll get into the setup in a second, actually. But yeah, from a weekly perspective, right? Context is there, right? We bounced off a macro demand. We have a very strong weekly closure. We have nice, strong rising volume. That's what you usually see in terms of a reversal. Now, what does that mean for us going into this week? Well, it's pretty simple, right? Simple in the aspect of what we're looking for, but it's not going to be simple in the aspect of the ranges, right? Last week's range is literally it's insane, right? We have a 3,000 point range on last week's session, right? For anybody who doesn't understand the significance of that range, that's a $60,000 range, right? Meaning, if you shorted the top, held into the bottom, you made 60K. If you longed the bottom, shorted it, sold at the top, you made 60K. This is a $60,000 range, right? This is a 3,000 point range. This is a 18% equity range. It is insane, right? I was about to say it's not very likely we go and test the bottom of it, but I'd be wrong, right? Because we've been proved otherwise, right? The market can make a move like that, and we've seen it. So, could we come back and test lows this week? Yes. Could we go and test close to all-time highs this week? I would say so, right? If we measure, right, just think about this, guys. Think about this for a second. We're up 18% last week. If we make that exact same move this week, guess what? We're at new all-time highs. If you copy and paste last week's move this week, we're at all-time highs. If that's not fucking crazy, I don't know what is, right? Literally, if we make the same move we made last week, we're at all-time highs. That is just insane, right? And that just goes to show how volatile the market is, right? So, what are we watching? That's the big question. Well, now, we're back into this major supply, right? Where we're currently trading right now is a major supply, and that's what I want to get into now, and hopefully we can get a nice trade opportunity from it. Getting down to the daily here, right? This is where you kind of see things start to shift, right? Last week we have our low, we have a higher low, and then engulfed that whole previous candle. What was that? Wednesday, right? Tuesday's session, we gave back pretty much half of that Wednesday session, and then Friday we held and formed an inside bar. Here we are tonight, we have a gap up, right? And this is what I want to put a lot of significance on here, right? Tonight's gap up. If you look at this chart, right? Right now, we are back into this major supply. Bottom line, 19,400, 19,200. That is the line in the sand. This supply here is the line in the sand. We gapped up tonight, we tested it, and we failed. So now we have this double top here. Coming off of the supply in the overall market context, we could very much so see a lot lower from here. What we need to be watching for this week, right? It's going to be very simple. First things first. Like I said, in my opinion, as long as below this 19,200, 19,400, the risk reward up here is short. Period. Now, downside. We have this gap that needs to be filled. We haven't filled it yet. This is what I'm watching for a trade tonight and tomorrow, right? If we lose this 19,000, even right now, that's a pretty simple short down in 18,900. Now, big levels this week. Again, 19,200, 19,400 to the upside, 18,875. If we get below this 18,875, it's very likely we trade back down into this 18,300, 18,000 level. So that's going to be the top watch this week. Now, in terms of upside, we pull back here, hold this gap fill, 18,900, and get back above 19,000. that would be a prime long entry back into that 19,200, 19,400, and then we can be patient up here and see what we do. Line in the sand level, 19,400. If we get above 19,400, it's likely going to be a parabolic squeeze, as we'll be breaking that downtrend. We'll break that daily structure, and this will trigger a move probably back into that 20,000 level, right? That is huge, right? That is huge. Now, again, tonight, setup I'm watching. First things first, right? We still haven't filled that gap. So, I need your guys' help. Obviously, I'm going to be focused on the charts, going through Sunday Live. For those of you guys that trade futures and you want to catch a trade, you guys got to help me, right? Just let me know when the setup is there. I'll set alerts. But if not, I'm going to be focused on the chart, right? Tonight's session, what do? Tested at major supply, instantly failed. Formed that lower high, 19,100, came down, and now we left this unfilled gap. Attempted to fill it and failed. Pushed. Obviously, we formed that high, pulled back, formed a higher low, attempted to break that high, right? Now, this is going to be a trade recap slash setup watch, right? Just for transparency, I'll always, anything I say I do, I did it, right? I don't bullshit in any scenario. You guys can see right here. I just posted this. Me and my mentees just took this trade probably like 20 minutes ago, right? I'm going to break down why I took it. So tonight can be a little trade recap as well. Made 3K. This is why I took it, right? Like I said, opened, very weak. Unfilled gap. Popped. Formed that high, lower high. Formed this high here, right? So now we attempted to break this previous high, and we have that high. We pulled back, formed that structure. Popped, formed a lower high. That's where I went short. I shorted this lower high. Target was at 19,000. If you go look at my Instagram, the last week I posted this exact same setup. So if you were to watch my Instagram story and you understood the overall market context and overall sentiment, you would have taken the same trade I did without even me telling you to take it, because this is the exact same setup I took on that Instagram story and taught you guys how to take, right? This is how you properly trade a bearish reversal. And obviously it would be inversed for a bullish reversal. But what I'm watching tonight, right? Kind of got like a little head and shoulders here, whatever you want to call it, left shoulder. And we got the head forming. One, if we pop back into the structure here, right? 19,020, or even if we break it, right, and form another lower high, that's where I'm looking to go short, right? So two things. Come back down, 19,800. We could watch this area here for one, that long off the gap fill. Get below it, look for the short. That's what you guys need to keep your eye on, and that's what I'm watching for the week ahead on NQ. Alrighty, let's move forward here. Let's get into ES here. Monthly chart. As I stated, right? You look at SPY. Where did we bounce from? These are game-changing levels, guys. Like, I don't think you guys understand the significance of an area like this. This is game-changing, right? And what makes this so significant is the monthly time frame, right? This is where massive move happens, as you guys can see, right? This is where major, massive moves happen. I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to get some FOMO on that NQ. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. This is huge, right? This is huge. We had that previous all-time high resistance here from back in 2021, which we came back, retested, along with this major uptrend trendline support. This is huge, right? This is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. Yeah, I know. I see that NQ. I'm starting to get a little FOMO off of it. Starting to get a little FOMO. That's what I was watching. I wanted this trade right here. Literally beautiful, man. That is a beautiful setup. Have that opening weakness, low, tempted to go higher here, failed, formed that lower high, got that break of structure, formed that low, popped and retested that previous structure here. That's an A+ setup. You would have just caught that whole move. Now it's just a holding game, right? As long as we're below that 19,000, hold for that gap fill down into 18,900. I mean, to be honest, you could even chase an entry here. Like, right, if you wanted to short NQ, you could just chase it here and keep a stop above that candle's high. Or if you trade micros, keep a stop above 19,030. I think we'll fill this gap sometime tonight. Whether we get a pop first or not, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to set an alert here because if we do, I'm going to take it with you guys. I'm not going to chase it right here and not be able to watch the chart, but that's what I would watch. I think we'll see a lot lower. At least fill that gap minimum. At least fill that gap minimum. ES. As I was talking about, right? We bounced off that macro demand. Previous resistance, massive resistance, turned support, 4,800, right? These are the game-changing levels, especially when it comes to that monthly and the weekly time frame. It's huge, right? Like, absolutely huge. Like, this could very much so be another higher low in the monthly, right? It's too early to tell, but this could keep that monthly uptrend intact, right? This could very much so be another higher low here. But obviously, we got to be patient and wait, right? We got to be patient and wait. Weekly time frame, right? Context. Again, we tested that macro demand. We held, closed extremely strong with rising volume. Does that mean we're all of a sudden super bullish? No, right? Does that mean we close strong? Yes. What we need to watch moving forward, right? It is very, very simple. Levels here on ES are even cleaner than NQ by far, right? If we look at this chart here, this chart is super established. Major supply, 5550, 5600, right? We can clearly see this is a major supply, right? Now we're looking at the daily. So now we have this macro demand here, 4,800. Last week, what did we do? Pushed into it, held, popped, faded, pulled back, engulfed that previous candle, pulled back on the Thursday session, held. And if you look at the hourly here, this is where you start to see that shift, right? You have that double bottom, you have that failure to go lower, you had that recent structure. We broke that recent structure, tested that supply, pulled back, formed a higher low. So this hourly chart is at risk of now reversing, right? We have a double bottom, failure to go lower, break of structure, pull back, higher low. So what are we watching? If we can break here on NQ, 5,600, that would now put this hourly into an uptrend. We would have a higher high, higher low. Very simple, right? So that's going to be the top watch in terms of the upside. If we get above 5,600, this likely squeezes back into 57, 5,800 and quickly. Now, my main watch, since we have been very weak, overall structure is still very bearish, and we're sitting below this massive supply, what I am watching for is a push back into 5550, 5600, us fail it, attempt to go higher, fail, or form a base up there so we can short it, right? Risk to reward there would be amazing, right? Now, obviously, we have to wait and be patient, but that's going to be my top watch. We pop into that 5550, 5600, and we get that failure, it is very likely we see a lot lower. And if we do see a lot lower, or say, for example, we see lower from here, what I would watch is this 5150. We're either going to pull back, hold that low, rip back into those highs, or we're going to pull back and fail, and we're going to get that daily low test. So the big levels this week are going to be that 5600 supply, 5150, right? I'm honestly not super interested in trading in between here at all, right? I want to see us break. Do I think we have the potential to break this week? Possibly. But the thing is, right, these ranges we have created is kind of like a once in a blue moon thing, right? From here on out, unless we get more news and stuff like that, the volatility is going to die out. So we're going to start to revert back to the mean, right? Like normal. And ranges are going to be shit. But until then, we need to be taking advantage of the volatility and of these ranges. And how do you do so is just size light and keep wider stops, right? Yeah, I'm watching. I see it. I'm locked in. Trust me. I am locked in. Trust me. Trust me, trust me, trust me. I'm locked in. But yeah, that's what I'm watching on QQQ. NQ and ES. Let's hop into QQQ and SPY now. Again, QQQ, right? We all seen where we bounced from. This is absolutely huge, right? This is the line in the sand moving forward. 400, 405. That is it. No question. Now, here on the daily chart. Hourly, right? We had that macro demand bounce. Held that uptrend. Extremely strong closure Wednesday session, pulled back, formed that higher low there. If you translate that to the hourly, you're going to see exactly what we're seeing now. We have that double bottom, failure to go lower, break of structure, higher low, right? So now this hourly is at risk of reversing. And it's very simple what we need to be watching, right? One, 468 to 432, right? This is essentially our parameters of this week, right? These two levels here. We pop back into this 560, 570 area and we show weakness. It is very valid for a reject, right? We pull back into this 432 area. One, we can watch initially for a demand bounce. But two, the main watch is going to be get below it. We get below that 432, next level is that massive demand, 400, 410, and that's where we can confidently look to say, hey, all right, let's take a demand bounce, or if we're super weak, market is going to zero. I'm just kidding, not zero, but if we lose this 400, mark my words, we will see 380 at least, minimum. In terms of upside, right? All eyes, 468. That's simple, right? Get above this 460. You could look for a higher risk entry into 468. Much safer approach is letting us break this 468 level, get that pullback along the dip. This is where things get really squeezy back into 490, potentially even into that 500 level again. All right. So just remember this, guys. 468, upside pivot, downside 432. Could there be value in between here? Possibly, but trading after those big level breaks are the best time, as that's when the most volatility comes in. Alrighty, so that's what I'm watching there on QQQ, and I highly encourage you guys to set alerts, right? Like that's, you guys always wonder, how are you always up to date with what the market's doing? Because I literally just set alerts. Where's my alert? Right before 468. Where's my alert? Right before 432. I'm not sitting there watching the charts all day. If you think I'm sitting there watching the charts all day, you are out of your mind, right? There's a reason I still have all the hair on my head and I don't have any gray hair, right? I'm surprised in a sense, but most of it's because I set alerts, right? I trade in the morning, open to about 11, 11:30, sometimes 12, and then I get the fuck away from the chart. I get my alert, I come back, check it out, looks good, I trade it, period, right? But you don't need to stress yourself out. Oh, I'm waiting all day for this level to trade. No, just set your alert, go walk away, come back when the alert goes off. That's simple. Alrighty, SPY here, let's get it. Again, context. My mentees understand the significance and the importance of context when looking at a chart. I need you guys to understand as well. Context is everything. If you understand the context, the overall market structure, I guarantee you it'll help you tenfold in terms of actually executing. You will likely stop being on the wrong side of the trade because you understand the context and the overall market structure. Again, looking at this chart, where do we bounce from, right? Major macro demand along with a major uptrend trend line support. This could very much so be the bottom for a move back into all-time highs. These are the type of areas where you see those type of moves, as we've seen, right? We tested this demand and we ripped literally what? 14%. If that doesn't tell you the significance of the demand, I don't know what does, right? So with that being said, SPY, we're now trading back into that major supply. How do we know that? We can literally look at the chart and see it. Major support, supports, tested as resistance, and confirmed. That simple, right? We know that's a major supply. We know this is a major demand. How? Look at the chart, right? We can see what happened at those levels. So with that being said, these are our kind of line in the sand levels moving forward, right? 550, 480. Now, these ranges are massive. That's a 70-point range. There's going to be value in between. What I am watching here is first and foremost, if we pop back into this 545, 550 on SPY, and we show weakness, I 100% will take a reject there, right? That is that macro supply. Number two, upside. It's very simple. If you want to be confident in upside continuation, we need to get above this 550, right? Let us break 550, wait for that break and hold, simply buy the dip. This likely squeezes back into 570 plus. All right? Very simple. Now, downside. Again, watching that supply for a rejection. Two, if we pull back, 510 here is the pivot, right? That's that hourly higher low. That's that structure. Two things are going to happen. We're going to pull back. We're going to hold. We can look for that demand bounce, right? Two, we're going to pull back. We're going to fail. If we fail that 510, there's nothing but room back into that 480. 480 is the line in the sand. If we lose 480, next level is literally 460 and then 440. All right? So very, very simple approach this week. Levels are super clean, super clear, right? You can literally look at the chart and see how clean and clear they are. All right? That's what I'm watching on NQ, ES, QQQ, and SPY. I'll cover YM as well, just because this level is so significant. What I want to talk about here, or YM, is where we bounce from, right? Look at this chart, right? What is the confluence you guys see here? All 4 major indices bounced off of a major macro demand. Previous resistance turned support. This could very much so be the short-term bottom, right? Do I think we just rip this week? Possibly. I would say we probably reject and then chop and then maybe rip, right? I don't think we just make a straight move in all-time highs. I could be wrong, but I think a pop, pullback, and then rip is probably the best scenario. Or pop, pullback, break lows, reclaim, and rip is the best scenario. But I need you guys to pay attention to stuff like this because it's huge, right? Look at NQ, right? Major macro demand. ES, major macro demand. YM, major macro demand, right? Super simple to understand. RTY. What do you notice? Major macro demand, right? When looking at these charts, the current state of them, we have to be careful, right? For a few reasons. 1, we did bounce off that macro demand. 2, this is a very news-driven market, right? A very, very news-driven market. You need to control what you can control as a trader, and there's only one thing you can control. That's your risk, right? When there's a lot of uncertainty in the market, and there's a lot of headlines flying around, as we've seen, please do your job, which is managing your risk, right? Yes, charts look good for higher as of now if we break this supply. But if we reject this supply, we could see daily lows quicker than we popped, right? So we know the levels. They're clean. If I had to give my honest opinion, right, on SPY and QQQ, what we do from here. When I look at this chart, the first thing that comes to my mind is bottom, right? Because of where we bounced from. That's the first thing that comes to my mind, right? First thing. Literal first thing comes to my mind is this is going to be the bottom. That's mostly 1, because of the overall chart where we bounced from. Major trendline support, macro break and retest. It's number 1. Number 2, I don't have enough long term, so I feel like it's going to leave me in the dust. I didn't buy the dip enough. I bought some, but I didn't buy enough. And then 3 would be the context, right? Every single indice bounced off that macro demand. So there is a great chance this could be a short-term bottom. Do we know yet? No, we don't, right? All we have at this point is a low, right? That's all we have. We still have a downtrend here, right? We have our high, low, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower high, right? So this daily chart is still in a downtrend. When this daily chart reverses into an uptrend, I'll be a lot more confident saying it's a reversal, right? So that being said, I'm kind of lost, right? I'm kind of lost. If I had to give you like a probability rate, I would say we see another pop, right? Another pop into the supply, or maybe break it, fail, and then we dump. I do think wholeheartedly that we will test 480 on SPY at least one more time, or we will test QQQ 400 one more time. I believe that. So if so technically no, this wouldn't be a short-term bottom if you had to ask my perspective. But again, who knows, right? Who knows in the grand scheme of things? Who knows? I don't, right? I just go into each and every trading day very open-minded, and that's it, right? That's it. Stick to my system, stick to my setups, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Gold, yeah, gold is insane, man. That dip was bought instantly. And again, right, like these type of setups, guys, I'm gonna break it down to you right now like this: daily, weekly, and monthly break and retest. Those are A+ setups, right? In the context of QQQ, NQ, gold, right? Like when you have those daily, weekly, and monthly break and retest like this, they're no-brainer setups, right? Like no-brainer swing setups. Just an FYI, right? Like SPY, QQQ, IWM, or even a name like gold, right? Like that was a no-brainer setup that I personally should have taken, but I didn't. Even oil, right? Like this is something I wanted to talk about tonight as well. Like look at oil, right? We just bounced off that major macro demand. And I think there can be a lot of opportunity here on oil, especially what's going on in the current state of the world. Like, I think there could be a lot of opportunity here, right? I do think there can be a lot of opportunity here. If we ended up breaking out, this would be absolutely huge. We could trade oh man, I think we're missing that NQ. Hold on. I'm tempted to chase an entry here. We got that beautiful bear H here. Got that shift of structure where we got that high, attempt to go higher, lower high, sweep of structure, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. This looks beautiful for a move down in 18,900. I'm honestly just going to take it. Yeah, I'm just going to short it. I'm going to keep a stop above this structure here at 19,030. I'm taking micros because my stop's so wide. But yeah, I'm just going to send it. I'm not going to miss it. I wish we had a better entry. I would take a mini, but it's whatever. We'll let that marinate. I'm going to set an alert here. Set an alert there. There we go. From a risk to reward standpoint, right now with that entry, oh my god. It's a 3R trade. It's good. I would have much rather entered right here. I mean, that in itself is a 50-point move, right? Like, that's huge. Like, if we could have entered there, we could have, you know, would have had a much better entry, but I still like it. I still like it. I just don't want to miss it. It's a little FOMO entry. From our entry, it's still a 100-point move lower. So we're literally risking 30 points for a 100-point move. I'm fine with that as a 3R trade. You know, I'm very fine with that. If you guys listened to my initial entry, that was it. That was the one. Anyway, all right, let's get back to these charts. Oil. This can be a top swing watch for me this week. A lot of work to do here, though. But yeah, man. Regardless, I think there's gonna be a lot of opportunity in the market. I'm gonna give you guys some advice. Keep capital ready, right? I started already dollar cost averaging in quite a few names. Picked up coin, more speculative buy. Picked up NVO last week. Disney. Picked up Solana off of 100. That was a pretty good dip buy. Picked up Solana at 100 last week. I'll show you guys. That was a no-brainer dip buy. Picked up Solana last week. That was fire. It's already up like 30% too. That was one thing I bought. I picked up AMD equity. I picked up AMD equity at 81. I'm super proud about that one. I picked up AMD literally right here. Picked up AMD there. What else did I pick up? Oh, I picked up Bitcoin too. Picked up another Bitcoin for my daughter. So she now owns a full Bitcoin. I picked up Bitcoin at that 75,000, which was a no-brainer. In my opinion, everybody should have bought Bitcoin there. 75,000, picked up some Bitcoin. What else did I buy? Oh, we're absolutely printing on this short. God damn. I should have grabbed a mini. Who took this? We're already up fucking 40 points. That was nasty. Well, 35. That was beautiful. I'm glad I chased it. Glad I chased that. That was fucking beautiful. Alrighty, let's get back to the watch. But yeah, I picked up some Ethereum, 1,500. I'll go over everything I picked up before we start. I picked up Ethereum at 1,500. Picked up Bitcoin 75K. AMD at 81. Solana 107. What else did we buy? Google. I bought Google at 148. Google at 148. And Disney. That's pretty much it so far. Hold on, I gotta lock into this NQ chart. This shit looks really good. I honestly might add here. I really honestly might add here. I think we're gonna fill that gap pretty aggressively. I really want to add here. Really want to add here. We'll see what happens. Just give it a sec. Y'all don't mind looking at the chart for a minute, do you? I know a lot of you guys probably going to take it with me, but I know some of you guys probably just want to get this shit over with. I really want to add to this. I'm only in 5 micros. I want to have at least 10, which is equivalent to 1 mini. I mean, right now we're already up 30 points. And this looks so good for lower. Like a setup like this, man, is just so clean. So clean, man. Like I can't stress enough. And like setups like this. Like again, going back to context, guys. Like if you guys want to really become a great trader, you have to understand overall market structure and sentiment, right? Like a lot of people probably got trapped on this gap up, right? There was zero reason to long that gap up. Look at what we gapped up into. We gapped up into that supply, right? Literally gapped straight into that supply. Got that massive failure, got that lower high, attempted to fill the gap and failed. So now these are untested lows, right? We have untested lows right before a gap fill. That's like a magnet, right? That's literally a magnet for them to come down and fill it, right? And now after you get that establishment, right, you're essentially just waiting for the setup, right? And there was multiple setups here, right? Obviously you have that low that was made. You wait for the next lower high. Once we form that lower high, could have shorted it, right? Or you could have done what I did, right? You could have waited for the pullback, pop, us attempt to break that previous high, fail, pull back, form that lower high, short that lower high, or you could have been even safer, right? You could have let us break that structure. Once we got the breakdown, establish that low, form that next lower high, you could have taken that lower high, or you could have traded that lower high there, right? Like, but it all starts from understanding the chart's context, right? Like if you notice, every single one of these setups started with a higher time frame analysis, right? And that's where I feel like a lot of you guys fail, is not zooming out, right? You get stuck on a lower time frame, and at the end of the day, when you zoom out, you realize, damn, I could have literally just done the opposite once and I would have made money, right? Like, I've been there, right? I've done that. You just gotta realize every trader goes through the same thing, right? So when I'm talking to you guys like this, I'm talking to you from experience, you know? And that's why I feel like, one, it's my job to enlighten you guys on those type of struggles and let yourself know that, hey, it's not just you, right? We've all been there. We've all done that, but you don't have to continue doing it. And a lot of it is just knowledge, you know, the lack of knowledge. And that's why I say knowledge is power. If you knew better, you do better, right? But yeah, man, anyway, we'll let this marinate. I'm looking for an ad opportunity. I'm going to put a chart up over here on my other screen so we can continue. And if I add, I'll let you guys know. Alrighty, let's get into these individual names. That NQ short looks fucking amazing, so we'll just let that marinate. First things first here. Let's get into NVIDIA. NVIDIA. Here we go. Bounced off that macro demand last week. Extremely nice volume here. Pretty much got a bullish engulfing on the weekly. Daily chart I like a lot for multiple reasons. One, macro demand test, higher low. Got that high, held that demand, failed to go lower. Now we got that reclaim. Daily chart looks amazing. Hourly looks even better, right? We got the demand test, higher low, break of structure, retest, got that higher low, and now we're building into this resistance, right? So all eyes on NVIDIA this week are going to be on this massive 115 supply. That's that previous week's high and that massive supply here. Very simple. If we can get a break and hold above this 115 on NVIDIA, this is my top watch for a long. This has nothing but room back into these highs here at 122. If we can get this downtrend break of that structure on NVIDIA, this is going to get absolutely parabolic. On the flip side, I am interested in a higher risk demand bounce off of this 103, 105 area, but it would be higher risk, especially if we fail that supply, right? If we fail that supply here, NVIDIA could get aggressive to the downside, so just got to keep that in mind. But yeah, the setup looks very good if the market gets strong. And on the flip side, if NVIDIA rejects this supply here, 112, 115, comes down, we break this demand at 103, get below that 103, that's a great short back into 92, right? So regardless, there's a lot of opportunity on this chart for sure. For sure. Next, we have Google. Pretty much, okay, let's keep this very simple, all right? Another thing, guys. Confluence, right? If you look at SPY, what do you notice? Macro demand test, bounce, look at the chart structure. QQQ, macro demand bounce, same structure. NVIDIA, look at the chart. Macro demand bounce, same chart structure. If you go look at the hourly here, a lot of you guys question why I trade in SPY and QQQ, or why I trade SPY and QQQ mostly. Why am I going to trade NVIDIA when it pretty much is identical to Qs? If I trade NVIDIA, I have to watch QQQ, right? If I trade NVIDIA, I have to watch SPY, right? Look at the QQQ and SPY chart. What is NVIDIA doing? Exactly what SPY and QQQ are doing. Now, when I say that, that is where relative strength or weakness comes into play. NVIDIA was relatively strong against QQQ and SPY, so that would trigger me to say, hey, I want to trade NVIDIA. So when I have these big beta names like NVIDIA, Meta, Tesla, Google, Microsoft, Apple, things of that nature, if they're moving in correlation with SPY or QQQ, it's better just to trade SPY and QQQ. But when you have that relative strength or weakness on the individual name, it's better to trade the individual name because it's diverged from SPY and QQQ. So it's essentially like trading its own little, indice in a sense, right? Because it's diverged. That is the way I structure my approach to the market, and you guys can see it's very successful. But yeah, that's a big thing. Like, look at the NVIDIA chart. Look at Google. Same exact chart, right? Literally, same exact chart, different levels. NVIDIA, Google, same exact chart, different levels. SPY, QQQ, same thing, right? Literally same thing. But Google here, what I am watching, one, we had that macro demand bounce, had a nice hold. Here we are in the hourly, pretty much identical structure. We have that low, higher low, breakup structure, higher low here, and now we're building into this supply. This chart can get absolutely parabolic under two conditions, right? One, if we break this downtrend trendline resistance, which also correlates perfectly with that 160, 158. If Google can, oh God, I need to stop saying that word. My thing's going off. If we can break goggles here, right? Goggles can get above 160. Just like NVIDIA, this is a no-brainer breakout for me, right? We get that breaking a little above 160, buy the fucking dip, target that 165. This has potential to get back into 170s easily, right? Now, on the flip side here, let's say we reject this trendline resistance, we reject this supply, we get weak. If we get weak after that supply rejection, get back below 150, that will be the short entry below 150, back into these lows. All right? Very simple. I'm watching NQ. I have it up on my other chart. I'm watching. Appreciate you guys. Next, we have Apple here. I'm looking for that lower high on NQ, and I'll add to it. If we get strong, we'll probably just stop out, but I want that gap fill. Apple. I should have picked up Apple equity, but I don't know why I didn't. I'm fucking a dickhead. Apple. Massive demand here. It's a no-brainer equity buy, but I don't know what I was doing. I picked up everything but Apple like an idiot. Massive macro demand here. Nice rising volume. Very strong weekly closure. Hourly chart. Beautiful, right? We have that macro demand test. Have that higher low. We're building into this massive resistance here. Massive level here at 200. This is my top breakout for the week ahead. Very simple. We get above 200 on Apple. Buy the fucking dip. Target that 208, 216. Very simple. Very simple. That is it, right? 200 level on Apple. That is my top watch. If we break, I'm all for it. Next, we have MicroStrategy. Absolutely love this chart as well. We got that weekly double bottom. Nice strong closure here with rising volume. Daily chart looks absolutely great. Got that higher low. Closed into this downtrend trendline resistance, though. I don't love that. Closed into that massive resistance here. But if, I say if, because all these names are back into supply. We had that macro demand test here. Held. Very nice. Now we got that higher low on the hourly. We're back into this major supply. If MicroStrategy can get above 304, this is a trade I absolutely love. Get above 304 here. Break that downtrend. This literally has room back into 320 and 350s. So if we get above that 304, buy the fucking dip. Let it rock. Lastly here, we have AMD. Then I have a bunch of swings I want to cover. First things first here. AMD bounced off that macro demand. 75-80 area, which was our top watch last week. Very nice rising volume on that strong closure. Daily chart, we are now back into that major supply. This is going to be trouble, right? This 95, 100 area on AMD is going to be trouble. That is those previous lows, right? So with AMD here, what I am watching is two things. One, obviously we have that macro demand test, nice higher low here. Now we're building back into this resistance. First things first, there's two ways to trade this AMD. Friday's highs, 95. If we get that 95 break and hold, I'm going to take it. It's a higher risk approach, but I think we can get absolutely parabolic above that 95 and the 98 and potentially back into that 105 plus if we get above 100. That is that big structure in that Trump speech high. I think ultimately that's where the market wants to go. Like if you want to talk about potential levels for the rip, I think we want to come back and fill that big impulse. That's my top watch. I think QQQ wants to get back up into this 480, 500 area, and then we might form a higher low there, then dump. That's my dream setup, right? Like we're talking about dream setups. That's it, right? Like I posted about this in the Minty community. What was it yesterday? That's the dream setup, right? Squeeze back into 480, 500. Fail that supply, we swing short back into daily lows. That simple. SPY, push back into this 570, 575, form that lower high, swing back into lows. That's the game plan, right? I think that's what the market wants to do, in my opinion, right? We bounced off that macro demand, see some more relief here, get a nice couple squeezes, and get back into that supply. That's what I'd say, especially with the current state of the charts. How strong that weekly bar is on QQQ and SPY, I would say we likely see a nice squeeze this week. And then, yeah, we can go from there. Alrighty, let's move on here. Got a couple of swings I want to check out. But before we check out the swings, I want to make it very clear. Excuse me. I was about to say a word I shouldn't have said. I don't know why. Let's act like we didn't hear that. Anyway, I want to be very clear. Clear. If you're swinging in this market, short-term expirations, you need to be sized for at least 50% drawdown, right? That's number one, right? All right, yo, come on. What are y'all laughing at? What the fuck is wrong with y'all? I didn't say shit funny. I don't know what you guys are laughing at, man. Is my analysis funny? You guys taking me as a joke? I don't know. What's going on here? Mad confused why everybody's laughing. Mad confused. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know what's going on here. Anyway, if you're swinging in this market, I want to make it very clear that you should be sizing for at least 50% drawdown. Now, with that being said, let's look at them. MicroStrategy. Love this chart. Again, double bottom, weekly, daily. If we can break it and hold above that 304, I want to swing it above 304 back into that 350. That's my top swing watch. AMD. If we can close strong above 100, I think this is going to squeeze back at a 110, 120 plus pretty easily, right? Again, top swing watch, right? Top swing watch there. Love it. Apple. I think this is also a great swing. If we can get above that 200 this week on Apple and close above it on the daily, I think that's a great swing on Apple back into 216 for that daily gap fill. So MicroStrategy, AMD, Apple are going to be my top swing watches this week, especially if the market closes strong. Tomorrow's session above those levels. Beautiful. QCOM. Massive uptrend trend line support here. Also a major demand. If we can close strong here above 145, love this for a swing. Or if we can pull back, hold this 131, we could take a swing entry there with the stop below these daily lows. Next, we have FSLR. Absolutely love this name as well. You guys can see this is a major macro break and retest that we held last week's session, this 115, 120. Two things I'm looking to do here. One, if we open tomorrow, stay flat, form an inside bar. I want to enter a swing with a stop loss below this 116. That's the game plan there. We'll update it tomorrow on Zoom. Target's going to be that 141. If we get above that 141, this has 180, 200 potential easily. I see NQ. I'm watching. Starting to get a little squeezy here. Still looking for an opportunity to add to this. Down 22 points right now, so I'm down $200. MongoDB. This This is one of my top swing watches as well. You guys can see the significance of this demand here. 135, 140. This is absolutely huge. Huge, 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 huge. Daily chart is what I love the most. We had that macro demand test. Now, if you look at the daily here, we got higher low potential. So what I'm watching here on MDB is if we can break this 173, break those previous structure, I want to swing this long back into 213. If we break that 213, we got a gap fill all the way back into 250. This is an A+ swing for me if those conditions are met. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. NVO, I'm already in this, but to be honest, it's still valid to enter. My rationale, you guys can see here, this was literally a no-brainer setup. No-brainer setup. I picked up a shit ton of equity. Got that previous resistance from back in 2022, which we tested and held last week's session. Got that beautiful double bottom, failure to go lower. Game plan here on NVO is, like I already said, I'm already in this swing, but I would add shorter expirations under two conditions, right? One, if we pull back to 61, I'm going to add to my current position, and I'm going to add some new strikes. Two, if we get above this massive rejection area here, this structure, 65.50 on NVO, this is going to get absolutely parabolic. So this is honestly one of my favorite swings for very valid reason. You can see how beautiful that chart is after that macro demand test. This is an A+ swing setup, right? Like literally A+, A+, A+. Really looking forward to entering this week on those, if we get that break, and add some options as well. Target, absolutely love this here. Major, 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 major break and retest here. You guys can see the significance all the way from back in 2018, testing again here in 2025. Got that daily double bottom. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful hourly chart here, forming a nice inverted head and shoulders. Got that left shoulder here, head working on the right shoulder. Game plan here is tomorrow, if we can hold this 90 level, I want to look to take an entry here for a move back into 100. If we break this 100 level on target, we can grab even shorter expirations or a potential day trade back in that 110. I think this can even see 120 plus if we get above that 100 psychological level. I think this target chart is absolutely beautiful. One, for long-term equity. Two, a short-term swing. Looks very, very good. Very, very good. Again, tomorrow, if we can hold this 90 and close above it, I'm going to enter a swing with a stop loss below those daily lows. So this is one of my top watches for tomorrow. I'm watching NQ. My stop is 19.030. So I'm risking about $500. I got it on my other screen. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. Got a big trading week ahead of us. It's a short one, but should be a nice week. Should be a nice week. Got some beautiful setups: MicroStrategy, Nvidia, Google, Apple. Yeah, man, I'm very excited, especially for Target, NVO, those swings. A lot of opportunity there. A lot of opportunity. And yeah, man, that's pretty much going to conclude tonight's live. I owe you guys 2 giveaways. Let's go ahead and get into that. Hopefully we can get another ad here on NQ. What I'm watching for is right here. I want to see a wick above that previous hourly high. This massive structure here. I want to see this wick fail. If we fail, that'll be our ad criteria. If we close strong, that'll be our stop loss. That's what I'm watching for here. I just want to build more size into this because I don't have enough for one. And I think we might consolidate here, form that little bear flag here, and then come down and test that gap fill. Setup's still 100% in play, right? We just got a little early entry, but that's why I grabbed micros so I could add into it. That's why I encouraged you guys to do the same thing. Alrighty, let's get it, man. Oh, you guys 2 giveaways. Let's get into it. Here we go. Let's do keyword. Bam. Regulars 3x, subscriber 5x. Keyword this week is going to be, let's do JPOW. First keyword here is JPOW. All you got to do is type JPOW in the chat one time, and you are good to go. I owe you guys 2 giveaways, so we'll go ahead and knock out this first one, get the second one knocked out. Hopefully we can get an ad here in between. If you guys are interested and wondering how to live trade with me, it's literally free. All you gotta do is click that link I just pinned at the top, and you're good to go. Live trade every single day on Zoom, completely free, no paywall, no gimmicks, no nothing. Every single day. You guys know the vibes, man. Let's get it. Yeah, shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to every single one of you guys who tuned in tonight. I just want to let you guys know I appreciate you guys. I've been doing these Sunday lives. I just checked yesterday. I've been doing these Sunday lives for over 5 years. I've only missed 6, 7 lives in between. I've been live on YouTube 5 years straight, every single Sunday. Every single Sunday, religiously. And yeah, man, I show up for you guys, so I really appreciate when you guys show up for me. Hopefully you guys enjoy these lives. If you guys do, all you gotta do is smack the like button, show up. I appreciate your support. Hopefully you guys get value from them. Most importantly, nice setups for the week ahead. Learn from the trade recaps, overall market analysis. There's a lot of value here, man. I'm not gonna lie, these Sunday lives, like even tonight, that trade recap I did, that was more value than 99% of these fucking weirdos courses, to be honest with you. Like, to be very honest with you. But yeah, man, good luck, everybody. Let's get it. First one is Quita. Hey, let's go. Quita. That's a good winner right there. Shout out to Quita, man. She's a minty. Let's go. I think you were just talking about it. I never win anything. There you go. Big Quita. You. Let's go. Everybody give a congrats to Quita. Let's go. You better hurry up and type your ass in the chat. That's all I know. You don't get no passes because you're a minty now. You got 30 seconds. She's probably over there. Oh my God! Finally! Yes, bitch! I already shout out to Quita, man. Let's get it. You gotta have fun with it, man. Alrighty, let's get it, y'all. Let me go ahead and clear this. Reset entries. Bam. Oh, whoops. Shit. Sorry, whoever that was. Reset. What do I gotta do? Where's the giveaway? What happened? Giveaway options. There we go. Keyword is going to be clear. All you gotta do is type clear in the chat one time, and you are good to go. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. Let's get it. I'm watching NQ, I see it. Again, man, I appreciate every single one of you guys taking time out of your Sunday to come kick it. Yeah, man. I appreciate every single one of you guys. For real. Every single one of you guys. Hopefully you guys got some value from this. If not, took the setups down and we'll trade them together on Zoom this week. I'm going to give this 10 seconds. We'll give it 15. Alrighty, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good luck to Guillermo Gonzalez. Guillermo. Where you at? Yeah, we might be getting that ag criteria here in a second. Here in a second. Nice. There he is. Congrats to Quita. Guillermo, I think that's how you pronounce it. And alrighty, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Get back to the little one. I'm going to give you guys an update on this NQ trade. Let's get it. So, this is what we want to see, right? We want to see... Oh, whoops. We want to see a failure here, right? 19.030. I would prefer us to wick above it, fail. That way, when we close back below it, we can use that as our stop loss and then target those lows in the bottom of the gap fill. I'm about to hop off, so make sure you guys listen closely. I will update it if I can, but right now, right, if you're not in and you want to enter, right now is the best entry you're going to get, and you can add on the failure. my game plan. Again, I'm watching for a test of 19030. Fail. That'll be my add criteria. If not, I'm just going to hold what I have. My first target is obviously a break of these lows. Second is the gap fill. My stop is going to be 19040, a 5-minute closure above it. Okay? That is my stop. That is my game plan. And, yeah, man. Looks good. Looks very, very good. Looks very, very good. Again, if you're not in, right now would be, the best entry. If you're already in, just wait for the game plan I mentioned. And, yeah, man, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Again, appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in tonight. And I will see you guys tomorrow, bright and early, for some live trading. You guys know the vibes, man. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. I will see you guys in the morning. Quita, DM Dom in the Discord, and Guillermo, do the same thing. I'll pin this message at the top. That way you can get your money ASAP. And I don't want to get in trouble, but me and Stock Streetwear have been cooking. You guys think everything we've dropped so far has been fire, but this next one takes the cake. I'm going to go worldwide with this one. Market. Every trader in the world will be wearing one. I promise you. That's how fire it is. I don't wear anything else. I'm literally wearing Stock Streetwear right now. 7 days a week. That's what I wear. 1, it represents what I love. 2, comfortable as shit. 3, it's fashionable. You can't tell me it doesn't look fire, especially if you're a trader. But next drop, I'm telling you guys, it's it for sure. But yeah, man. Alrighty, I'll see you guys in the morning. Peace, y'all.